Hello and welcome back, IYE sports fans. This is Brian, and I am here to bring you my Week 2 NFL teaser picks. Week 1 was a great week, especially since the Bolts went into Brazil and pulled off a huge victory against the Kings of the AFC, the Kansas City Chiefs. I'll most likely be making a separate video for my boat family, which will likely be a preview or a review of our week 2 matchup against the Raiders. Um, so, as much as I like to continue talking about the Chargers, we just got some business to tend to. I hope that we get off to a good start. It's early in the year, so hopefully these picks can help you cash out on Sunday and keep you guys coming back for more. So let's start this thing off with the matchup between the New York Giants at the Dallas Cowboys. The Giants just basically showed us in week 1 that not much has changed since last season. They added Russell Wilson at quarterback, and it just doesn't seem like it's going to work out for too much longer. I mean, Russell Wilson, dude, I guess Seattle was a great system for him, but he just hasn't looked great for anyone else since then. I believe after this year or soon he'll just be a backup for the rest of his career. There were actually a lot of people calling for Jackson Dart to get the start at the QB1 spot this offseason, and I think that'll come into fruition pretty soon. The Cowboys, as we all know, had a big matchup against their division rivals, the Philadelphia Eagles, in week 1. And even though they lost in the close game, I, along with a lot of people, was very impressed from what we saw from this team. I mean, they could have easily won that game if it weren't for a few drops from about 3 or 4 drops from CD Lamb and some big spots. They were in control for most of the game. They just could not close it out. So I just don't see the Cowboys starting the season off 0-2 based off of what we saw in week 1, especially with them playing at home this week. So let's lock in the Cowboys on this pick, who would just be a half-point favorite on a teaser. So basically, all they'd have to do is win. Next, we move on to the Cincinnati Bengals, who are hosting the Jacksonville Jags. Both teams pulled out a win in week 1. The Bengals did not look great. I don't know what it is with these guys, man. They just cannot come out the gates firing on all cylinders. The offensive line looked bad. Joe Burrow, I think he passed for 113 yards against a questionable Browns defense. But normally they wouldn't even have won this game the last few years. I mean, they've been terrible. So the fact that they got this win is huge, I think, and I think it'll give them some. I think it'll put the organization at ease moving into week 2, and we'll be more accustomed to seeing the team we see later in the year in week 2. Now that they got that win, and they could kind of quiet some of the hate when it comes to their early season woes, because I mean they won 17-16, and like I said, Burrow had a terrible game. So I mean, people are still going to be cautious, but I think this will be the thing that'll turn around their misfortune for the foreseeable future. Even though Burrow didn't have a really good game, I mean, he's a baller. He's a future Hall of Famer. And if you're going to ask me to pick between Trevor Lawrence or Joey B, it's going to be Burrow every time. The Jags won, as I mentioned, but all that needs to be said here is that they played the Carolina Panthers. So give me the Bengals plus 2.5 at home here. So for game number 3, we're going to look at the Chicago Bears at the Detroit Lions. The Bears looked decent for about a half, and that was until J.J. McCarthy and the Vikings just decided to put on the afterburners. They put together an amazing comeback to send Caleb and the Bears into week 2 with an 0-1 record. I didn't see enough from this new look Bears team to convince me that they can run with the big dogs, or in this case, the big cats. The Lions themselves, they did get smoked by the Packers in week 1, but I think the Packers are just a better team at this point. I don't know if the Lions will be as good as they were last year, but I do know they will look better this coming week. When it comes down to it, I just don't see the Lions starting off the year 0-2, the same as I feel about the Cowboys, especially after such an amazing year in 2024. So give me the Lions by half point in this week 2 divisional matchup. Moving on, we have the easiest game to call for the week. All right. That's the Carolina Panthers at the Arizona Cardinals. There's just not much to explain here. The Panthers are on the field. Bet against them. Simple. So let's lock in the Cardinals at home by just they're underdogs by a half point. So on the teaser, basically all they have to do is come out with the victory, which I can say is probably about a 98% chance they'll do that. All right. So for game number 4, we have the Denver Broncos traveling into Indy to face off against the Colts. The Colts, just a weird team to call. Week 1, they were impressive. But me, probably along with a lot of people, I just don't know what to believe. I'm not the biggest Daniel Jones fan, although he looked like Peyton Manning in week 1. I know the Giants are probably like, what the hell is going on? But it was against the Dolphins. And I believe the Dolphins, their organization is just a mess. Some stuff's going on with Tyreek Hill. It's just one of them teams that are probably going to blow everything up here pretty soon. So the Colts, coming out in the week 1 matchup against them took advantage of that. But now they have the Broncos, who have one of the best defensive units in the league. And I think they will absolutely shut down Jones this week and come away with a victory. The Broncos offense was lackluster in week 1. Bo Nix, who has been crowned by a lot of the sports media. But me personally, I'm just not sold on him just yet. Although I do think he's a very potent quarterback who will put together a much better week in week 2. So let's go ahead and lock in the Broncos, who would actually be getting 3.5 points as an underdog on a teaser this week. Last and of the most least is the Buffalo Bills at the New York Jets. I left this one last because it's just a pick I'm just least confident in. I'll be honest here. I'm going to be completely honest throughout the duration of this of me making videos and putting out content. I'll let you guys know if I'm really not feeling a pick. But if I'm still choosing to go with that pick and lock it in, then I'm a lot less confident in whatever is left out there as far as spreads. So a lot of you people were probably wondering, like, why the hell would he go against the Buffalo Bills, against the Jets? Realistically, if you look at it, you got to do some research when you're making these picks. And I was even surprised to find out that the Jets play the Bills extremely well when they're at home. The Jets lost by 3 points against the Bills in a tight one last year, but managed to win the 2 years prior in New York. And few of those games, I believe, they had Zach Wilson. So this is just one of them divisional matchups that you just got to be careful with. They're on the road against the Jets, and like I said, they play this team very well. It's just I'm a bit cautious here. I am confident in a way, but I'm also cautious. I actually had the San Francisco 49ers in their place. That was until the news dropped about Brock Purdy, who most likely will not be suiting up this week. So the Bills are coming off a huge win in a dramatic fashion against the Ravens, and the Jets are actually coming off a close loss against the Steelers in one of the more exciting games of week 1. Justin Fields did not look that bad, so we just don't know what to expect from the Jets. Still, if you're going to bet this game, you just have to take the Bills to win, in my opinion, since there's always a chance that this team could just dominate the opposition. Although if the Jets did manage to win, it wouldn't be a surprise given their recent history. I just think this Bills team has been through enough, with their roles in the last few years. I just think they've been through more than enough to lose in this spot so early in the season. So let's go ahead and lock in the Bills minus a half point to close this thing out. So there we have it. 6 picks for you guys to mull over this week. I think they're all solid picks, but I still love for you guys' opinions. So go ahead and leave me some comments. Let me know how you guys make out. And please be sure to like and follow so you're the first to know when we release more picks and content. This is Brian at IYE. Much love to everyone watching. And until next time, peace.